Okay, Ryan Weathers, our next guest here on Side Sessions. Thank you. I know you were really busy this morning, so I appreciate you carving out some time for us. We're 2 weeks away. This is coming out tomorrow. Do you feel like the boys are starting to get the itch? Like, well, let's get out of spring training. We're ready to get down to Miami.
For sure. I think we're all ready to have some later days and not all these early days. But no, I mean, the vibe's been good here. You know, we got a young team. Obviously, I've been on like 2 separate teams. You know, I was with San Diego when it was like an older team, and I was a young kid. And then it's like weird kind of being like in the middle now, being 25 and being in the middle.
A vet now.
Yeah, it's a little different, but no, it's been a lot of fun.
What's the day like? So walk me through like bedtime, wake up, like how you're actually operating. What time are you getting home from a work day?
From a work, I mean, you know, if we got a day game at home, I'm home at 3:30, 4 o'clock. If we're on the road, I'm probably on a tee box somewhere playing a little golf. So I might get home at like 6:30 then, but nothing crazy. I mean, it's just like any other day. Just come go to work, go back home, eat a little dinner with the wife, play a little video games.
Sure.
Like it's just a normal day.
What are you playing?
No, me, Max Meyer, and Braggs, we play Fortnite together. So we have a lot of good games.
Still carrying over since 2020. I remember when Fortnite came out.
Oh, yeah.
Ryan, it's so cliche, dude. Every time guys come back from the off season, best shape of their life. I've never felt better. You are in the best shape of your life, and I want to get into the whole diet change because everyone has that moment of like, I need to change something. What was that moment for you where you were like, all right, this is it now. I need to take my diet serious?
For sure. We have, blood panels done every spring. And, I'd always been told I was healthy. Well, ever since I was like in high school, like I played, 3 sports. I was always like, I wasn't like the other kids. Like I always keep a little bit of weight on. Sure. And like, even like my mom and dad would be like, it's kind of a little bit weird. So this past year I went to a holistic doctor and got some blood work done and found out that I had a little bit of high insulin resistance. So it would just kind of sparked like, okay, what do I need to change? And obviously, I just started kind of doing the carnivore diet, and then now it's just animal-based. Like now I'm in a comfortable spot, so I eat fruit. I just try to, stay away from carbs and sugar, really. It just keeps my body in a good spot. I recover a lot better. I've had weird injuries in my career.
Yeah, the index test.
So if I can, do that and eliminate just like little small tissue injuries, then obviously if it benefits my career, I'm going to keep doing it.
I'm really curious what that looks like away from the ballpark, because at the ballpark, obviously it's been pretty well documented over the last week or so that the nutrition team is excellent. I'm sure they can cater to your needs, but away from the ballpark, what does shopping look like? You go to the grocery store, it probably looks a little bit different now, right?
A lot of ground beef, chicken, fish, sure. Steaks. But no, my wife's awesome. So she, she's helped me start mixing some fats just with like avocado, stuff like that. The big thing for me is like I can still eat some stuff, just like not overindulge in stuff. So like if I want something, like I'm not going to shy away from having it. I'm just not going to just crush it,
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's crazy how much when you do take your diet serious and you cut out the carbs and sugars, the weight just falls off.
For sure.
And it's helped you with your delivery. Do you credit the uptick in velo to that as well?
For sure. I think that combo with like I really switched up my lifts this past year. I switched up my running too. So I've always been a distance runner. Well, with my PT back home, his daughter is a sprinter at I can't remember which SEC. But do you ever see a sprinter do like static stretches and, they go for a long run?
Sure.
Like, no, they just sprint.
Sure.
So, long distance running for a pitcher can promote slow twitch muscles. So your big muscles like your quads and your pecs, like whatever it is, it's going to promote that slow fiber. So we changed the lift. Instead of just doing like go in there and do like 4x3, 3x4, it would be 4x10 or 4x12 deadlift, like whatever you can lift. Like, if you can do 365 by 12, do it. And it's just that time under tension, your muscles, like you can just build muscle a lot quicker. You can just maintain that strength for a lot longer. This off season, we worked on my pecs and more my upper body. I've not always had a lot of upper body strength, so just trying to promote some upper body strength. I mean, you have to have strong pecs to throw hard and to maintain that velo for a long time. So just switching up to running, I did a lot of sprint work. The lifts really changed a lot, just like I said, with that time under tension and, doing it 4 days a week, at some point you're going to start gaining a little bit of muscle and gaining just some strength. And then too, just getting older, now I'm 25, so I think there's a thing to like getting some like grown man strength for sure. I watched Luzardo, go out there and just throw gas, and it's just like, he was 25, 26 years old. I think it's just kind of just the pecking order. Like you start getting at that age, like you just get a little bit more strength just naturally.
I like that you bring up Jesus because that's another guy with a clean delivery from the left side that's throwing fuel. And you're here, I'm watching like a very clean delivery and a guy that works simply down the mound. Did you work to clean up anything this offseason, or were you really comfortable with where the delivery was at? It was just a matter of building strength and kind of, creating a higher baseline for what you already had.
I would always say like I've had pretty solid mechanics. I think there were just some minor tweaks. When I got hurt in 2021, I got the back of my foot. I broke like a bone in the back of my foot. And I think it promoted me. I started striking with my heel, like on my front foot, and it would cause me to spin out. Well, as soon as you spin out, you're losing your whole lower body. Now your arm's flying open. Now it promotes like you're getting that like tail on your fastball.
So that's
We heard you say that a couple days
moving
ago,
arm
yeah.
side.
So now it's like now you can't get to the front of your breaking ball. And now your changeup's flattening out. So this off season, so last year Mel kind of worked with me a little bit. We just worked on it like instead of like landing on my big toe, like going heel to toe, like trying to keep like that forceful. And obviously it was working, like, but my changeup got better, my breaking ball got better. I still needed to work on the four seam, just with the shape. And then this offseason, I just sold out to like, doing single leg jumps, just trying to work on just enforcing, like landing on my big toe. And I think now I'm striking with my big toe, and it's keeping my whole entire lower body and upper chain like in line. And I've just noticed like, through video, like my front arm like is really leading like in a good way. Like it's, now my arm, all it's doing is just playing catch up with the rest of. I've never been an elbow leader, so like my elbow's coming through at a 90-degree angle, which scientifically promotes less, injury prevention. So yeah, it's actually pretty fascinating stuff.
Yeah, it is really fascinating. Have you always been a guy that was really interested in that stuff? Because I'm sure there was a point where it was like, this is a lot of information, and then all of a sudden, what sounds like hieroglyphics may become like just pitching language.
Especially with this staff. It feels like a perfect match for Ryan Weathers with all these analytical videos and everything that's coming.
For
in
sure.
between.
I think it's like, as a pitcher, like, analytics have their place, and I think old school has its place. I was raised in an old school household where, my dad was raised in baseball in the late 80s, early 90s, like in the minor leagues. Like, he's going to be old school. Whatever you do, get in the zone, mechanics. I was doing mechanics on a backfield at age 8. Like, and I think now with like analytics, where it has its place is like you're able, every pitcher is different. So like when I look at my TrackMan data, like if we are, at home in Miami, we have, the pitch metrics on the board. Well, I'm able to look at that and tell where my tilt is on my fastball. So I'm gonna throw my best bullet. If my tilt's at 11 o'clock on a clock, it's gonna be my best fastball. If I start drifting to 10:30, that's when I'm gonna start getting like tail, and now that fastball at the top of the zone turns into a foul ball instead of a swing under. Same with the changeup. Like the closer I can get to 9:30, I know I'm going to have like the split changeup and it's going to fall off the table. So it's like, as a pitcher, just being able to figure out, what numbers you look at. Like all those numbers, like some of them really don't even matter.
Right.
But if you can pick and choose like a couple things to watch in your delivery or something to watch on the TrackMan, like I don't see why you can't use that to your advantage.
You got all that? It's going to be on the test later.
Dude, this is why Jack is a nerd when it comes to pitching. Like I was so excited for this particular episode because I was telling him, I was like, yo, when Ryan is done however many years, he's gonna get into broadcasting.
Yeah.
And this is your language. I mean, you 10:30, 11 o'clock, we're talking time, we're talking pitching. What are we doing here? But
Shoot, both. They go hand in hand.
take it.
No, it is really interesting, and the big story about you right now when it comes to your fastball is, hey, we're seeing 98, 99, but we're also seeing 19 inches of vert, and induced vertical break is a big thing right now, and that's just a matter of defying gravity pretty much with your fastball. And you're saying tilt, if you're at 11 o'clock, you're going to get that whiff underneath. If you're at 10:30, like think about it like a clock, right? So all of a sudden you miss out on a little bit of that vertical jump, and then it's catching a barrel just a little bit.
Yeah, so for a lefty, it'd be like 11 o'clock, and then for a righty, it'd be like 1 o'clock. Yeah. So it's just like you just literally flip.
the clock.
And like I have a low approach angle. So even when I was at the 15 vertical, at the top of the zone, it's coming in flat. So it's kind of like a little upshoot. So like guys like Joe Ryan, that's why they have such a good fastball, is because it's a low delivery, low release height, and they're just pushing the heater to like the top. So it just, to the hitter, it promotes like, a guy with a flat swing, you're probably not gonna go to the top of the zone because they can just get to that, and they're gonna promote backspin, and now you're gonna give up homers. So a guy like Soto, like a righty's probably not going to throw a four seam at the top because he's got a flat swing and he's just going to crush it. But some guys that have like a little dip, like that approach angle plays into effect. You can have like technically not a good metrics fastball, but if you have a low approach angle and you can upshoot it to the top, like it's just going to be tough for them to get to it. So now you add like a little bit of upshoot and you're carrying vertical, it's just another piece that goes into like a fastball. Like there are a bunch of pieces why guys have some good fastballs, some that are not great, but they have dirty off-speed pitches. That's why pitching's like fun now.
So you, as a pitcher, like, how do you work on that? How do you work on gaining vert? I was talking to Chase McDermott, who's in the Orioles system, and he puts like a metal rod in the middle of a baseball and just rips down and tries to spin it as much as possible. And that'll in turn kind of create a little bit of that. How do you train vert? Is there a way to do it?
I mean, like for me, like, you know, last off season, I've been on the edge of investing in TrackMan for a few years, and I got one last off season. And, you know, the off season is truly the only time you can actually tinker and like work with stuff, because you're not having to, you know, you can touch the mound every 3 days because you know you're not going to battle for 7 innings, 100 pitches.
Yeah.
And, you know, some of those, you know, sessions could go 20, 30 minutes just because you're trying to figure out something with the axis or something with the spin. And this offseason, like, I got to figure out my tilt. Like, I knew my tilt when I threw my best heaters. You know, I have like one of those clean Fuego balls that I'll throw, and it just literally, you know, all I'm trying to think is when I'm throwing my fastball is how much backspin I can put on it. Just because I'm not really trying to backspin it, but it just keeps my fingers in a spot to where I can get, you know, if I get to the top of the zone, you know, it's going to have the vertical, or, you know, I'm going to throw my best bullets at the bottom because I'm getting extended and getting that full pullback. And, you know, that's when I'm popping my like 20, 21s at the bottom. And, you know, it's just a free strike for me. It's a free take.
It's your cue. It's your feel. So you hear terms like cue and feel, like that's, you're trying to get as close to noon as you possibly can.
For sure.
Okay. Can I get into walk rate? Of
course.
I want to sound intelligent too. So your walk rate went from 11 to 6%. Your ground ball rate went to 37 to 49. What is next for you this year from at least that chapter of things?
Well, I really like the quote that Jackson Jobe said the other day. Like, I'm going to trust my stuff and I'm going to throw it over the plate and do with it whatever you want. I think there's something to that. I think it promotes, like, I'm not scared of contact. It's the big leagues. You're going to have days where you get whacked.
Yeah.
Those guys in the box are really good too.
Yep.
But also at the same time, like as a pitcher, like the more I'm learning is like you also can't give the hitter too much credit. A Hall of Famer's 3 for 10. That means they're getting out 7 times.
It's wild, right? It's wild. Like
So I think the next step for me, that what I really took a deep dive into, is how much I can strike my off speed. My outings, when I had an above like 45% strike percentage on my sweeper, the outing, that's when I was getting into the 6th, getting into the 7th, getting into the 8th. You know, just changing speeds, like pitching, I don't want to say it's like, you can make it very complicated at the level, because I've been there and done that. I've made it complicated, but it's the same game as if you're pitching in high school.
Yep.
Like, you're mixing speeds, you're changing eye levels, you're moving the ball in and out and just not getting fixated in one spot. So I think the more I can strike my off-speed pitches, you know, right now my changeup's kind of my calling card. So the more I can strike that to get it below, like, you know, now if they know I'm striking it, you know, I have a shot at getting like chases below.
You just mentioned that, you know, pitching don't overcomplicate, and you went through some times where you were overthinking it. You were thrusted into the big leagues. Were you 20 years old?
20.
20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, you know, San Diego has a little bit of a reputation of doing that. Do you have, let me first start with that. What was the most difficult, challenging year for you in the big leagues?
Honestly, the most challenging year that I had wasn't even the big leagues. You know, it was 2022 when I was in the big leagues in 21. That was in AAA all year and trying to develop in, you know, El Paso, Texas, you know, a hitter-friendly league. And then in 23, at the beginning part of the year, not really seeing results, you know, you got 2 ways. You can either spiral and go downhill and think, why is this happening to me? Or you can be like, I'm figuring this out and I'm going to go out there and pitch.
Yep.
And yeah, like as crazy as the beginning of my career was, like it's benefited me more.
Sure.
Because you know, really up to that point, even halfway through my rookie year, I had really never been through failure per se.
Even 0 ERA in high school.
And even my first half season, you know, my rookie year, like I threw the ball really well, and I didn't really hit like a lump until August.
Sure.
So learning from that failure at 21, 22 years old, like it has been the biggest asset for me. Like, Now when I actually remember this, like in 2023, if I got into bases loaded, nobody out jam, it's like, how am I going to get out of this? And I remember in Toronto at my last start of the year, they got base juice, and I was like, I trust my stuff. Like, I'm going to get out of this. And, I would say like the mental aspect is what shifted for me, being able to think through a game, read a swing. Mel really helped me with that, and now having Moskos to help me with the analytical part.
Two completely different cats.
Two phenomenal pitching coaches, and obviously different philosophies, but different philosophies in the fact of old school, new school, but the same goal. Like if we have good stuff, if we can't throw strikes and get outs, what's the point of having good stuff? Like throw it over the plate. I have a high ground ball rate, so the chances of me getting a ground ball are going to be good. Mm-hmm. And, now I'm producing numbers with different, just throw my stuff over the plate and whatever happens, happens.
There are a lot of people internally, like there are a lot of people in Jupiter that are really excited to see what you can do when the games actually start counting, right? Opening day comes, watch out for Ryan Weathers. This guy has the makings of a breakout candidate, like we talked about. When you make the trip 90 minutes, 2 hours, if it's a bad time of day south, how excited should fans be for Ryan Weathers' 2025 season?
I'm just, my big goal is, it stunk last year being on the shelf. It stinks watching your boys go to war and you can't go to war. My biggest thing is I just want to stay healthy. And, we get to watch Sandy throw this year. Yuri's coming back. Max came in looking great. You got Cabby, who's got nasty stuff, and we're going to get him in the zone. Like we're going to get him in the zone, and it's just a fun team to be a part of. So, I mean, I'm excited about this team. It's a fun team to be a part of. Obviously, I'm excited for myself, but I'm just excited to watch my brothers succeed too. And we're just trying to create like a team camaraderie. You got to start somewhere, and why not now? Start getting a team that is balled in and all together. And baseball is an individual game per se. It goes on how you do. It goes on how the pitcher throws. You're on an island, but it's a team game. And the more we can come together, the more we can rally together. I'm excited for the year to start.
What do we got here on time?
Should be 17 minutes in.
Okay, so we got like a couple more questions left, and then we'll let you go. ABS, what do you think?
I personally, I've thrown on just straight ABS. I've thrown on the challenge system. I don't mind the challenge system personally, especially like when I was on ABS originally in 22, it was just a two-dimensional zone. So it didn't matter what the height was. Like the zone was exactly the same. Yeah. Well, you get a big guy in there, and now you're having to throw it at his quads and waist. Like that's right in his happy zone. Yep. So like the fact that they took the time and got measurements and it makes a difference. I think if anything, the challenge system will be in play. I don't think ABS will fully be in play just because it takes the umpire aspect out of it. Now, the challenge system, and an umpire misses the ball 2 balls off, and now everybody's chirping him. And a lot of the time, that's the fun part of the game is fans chirping the umpire. It's just you see ejections. It's just something that just happens. But then our catchers they work their tails off back there, and we're just going to take that away from them. That's some of their most value is guys that can, Fortes,
Bailey,
40 getting the balls at the bottom of the zone for me. And, sometimes hitters don't know if it's a strike or not. Yeah. And, he's stealing me a strike at the bottom. We're just going to take that away. I just don't see the value in that personally.
I'm totally with you. Last one from me. You get an off day in Miami Thursday. What are you doing?
I'm going to try to go play some golf somewhere.
Okay.
I'm going to go
summer, dude?
Absolutely, dude. I'll play golf whenever.
Oh.
I love baseball, but I'm going to want to be a golfer. I want to golf all the time.
Every baseball player has something else that they want to do. I'm telling you, whether it's
is that what it is? Is that a thing?
Oh, there's nothing better than hitting a buttery iron shot, and it's just it's better than a punch out. It's just the best.
What are we doing with the hair? I like the hair. I remember you came here. You had a man bun when you were in Texas or something like that.
That's done.
I like this.
I guess it was a phase. I don't know what it was, but no, my wife this offseason, I was like, I kind of want a little faded mullet, and she's like, go do it. And I'm like, that's all I needed, and I went and did it. So we're just gonna keep rocking with it.
Long hair's back.
It is.
It's back. This army cut is not. We need to start growing out.
This is way better for me, but they would have had all day.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's true. That is awesome. Dude, thank you so much. Have a great season. We're so excited to cover you for my third time. Jack's first time. Stay healthy. Keep that index finger. Oh, I had one question. Manicures. You guys get manicures, right?
Nah, I don't get no manicure.
That was a question.
I wanna know who gets
That was a
manicured.
question because you're digging your fingers into the ball all the time, and you can show. How do you take care of your fingernails? You don't do that.
I just be super careful when I'm cutting them. That's all I worry about. Make sure I don't have any blisters. And but no, the big thing is like a sneaky one is like guys that do hot tubs and cold tubs a lot and like not getting your hand in the water because it'll wrinkle your skin and it'll promote like it's wrinkled so it can like literally just rip off. So like when you're in the tubs like. Keep that hand out of the water. Whatever you do, keep it out of the water. It's going to shrivel up.
You seen Zoolander where he
No.
has the glass case around his hand? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Hey, if I'm nervous, I'll put like a glove on it. Like I'll put one of those. Like I'm like I am not touching this water today.
I knew I asked that question for a reason. Ryan.